Okay, we'll start with our prayer.
Namaste.
Namaste, namaste, welcome. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Vang me manasi pratisthita mano me vachi pratishthitam avirmayedhi vedasya ma'ani isthah srutam me ma praha asirane nadhite nahoratran sandadhami ritam vadishyami satyam vadishyami तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ. Swami Vivekananda said, to understand scriptures, we should use the lens of the life of Sri Ramakrishna. So today I'll start with a passage from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, because that will give us insight. So we'll start like this. It is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 245. There is much similarity between the 7 planes described in the Vedanta and the 6 centers of yoga. The first 3 planes of the Vedas may be compared to the first 3 yogic centers, namely Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipur. With ordinary people, the mind dwells in these 3 planes, at the organs of evacuation and generation, and the navel. When the mind ascends to the 4th plane, the center designated in yoga as anahata. Anahata means not to be hurt. When mind reaches there, then it cannot be, it is not hurt generally. It sees the individual soul as a flame. It sees the individual soul as a flame. Besides, it sees light. At this, the aspirant cries, "Ah, oh, what is this? What is this?" In Bengali, it is, "Ah, eki, eki." That means what he experiences cannot be explained. And he sees something which is very significant. Sees means realizes. When the mind rises to the 5th plane, the aspirant wants to hear only about God. By the yogi as Agnya. Agnya means in between 2 brows. Their mind dwells there. So Anahata Vishuddha Agnya. Anahata is here at the center of our being. Vishuddha at the throat level. And Agnya means where this in between eyebrows. So that is Agnya. When the mind rises there, the aspirant sees God. But still there is a barrier between God and the devotee. It is like the barrier of glass, fine thin glass, in a lantern, which keeps one from touching the light. King Janaka used to give instruction about Brahma Jnana from the 5th plane. Sometimes he dwelt on the 5th plane and sometimes on the 6th. In the case of Sri Ramakrishna, he used to say that my mind dwells from this Bach Kilche. Bach means like the boat race from throat to Agnya, and sometimes Shastra in Samadhi. So that is there. Mother not below this, always up there. When the mind rises there, the aspirant sees God, but still there is a barrier between God and the devotee. It is like the barrier of glass in a lantern, which keeps one from touching the light. King Janaka used to give instructions about Brahma Jnana from the fifth plane. Sometimes he dwelt on the fifth plane and sometimes on the sixth. After passing the six centers, the aspirant arrives at the seventh plane. Reaching it, the mind merges in Brahman, the individual soul, and the Supreme Soul become one. The individual soul and the Supreme Soul become one. As Sri Ramakrishna, when he is in Samadhi, he merges that individual soul, as it were, merges in the Supreme Soul. Why as it were? Because it is already merged. But for our purposes, we see it is merging, as it were, it is separate. The aspirant goes into Samadhi. His consciousness of the body disappears. His consciousness of the body disappears. He loses the knowledge of the outer world. He does not see the manifold anymore. His reasoning comes to a stop. Even the poets, because they lift their mind, so whatever they write for many people, if not all, but they touch the heart of many, almost all, except the brutes. So it's because their mind is lifted, so as they can lift their mind, they become universal. Swamiji spoke from that, I think, Vishuddha or Agnya. Sometimes when he's instructing, that's why he used to lift people to that level. So he loses the knowledge of the outer world. So this knowledge that we have this outer world, this is in our understanding. He does not see the manifold anymore. His reasoning comes to a stop. Trilanga Swami once said that because a man reasons, he is conscious of multiplicity. I'm reading again. Trilanga Swami, a great sage, he used to live in Varanasi. Trilanga Swami once said that because a man reasons, he is conscious of multiplicity, of variety. Attaining Samadhi, one gives up the body in 21 days. Spiritual consciousness is not possible without the awakening of the Kundalini. A man who has realized God shows certain characteristics. He becomes like a child or a madman or an inert thing or a ghoul. Why? Because all the reasoning stops. So he behaves as he wishes. It cannot be comparted or rationalized. When the mind reaches the unity, then he does not discriminate. Discriminate means he sees all one. So Shuchi or Shuchi, that means cleanliness, uncleanliness, or friend and foe. All these distinctions are when we are awake of this world. So, why I read this? Because today we are going to read something where the creation is explained. And Sri Shankaracharya says, we are Vedantin. We are not Srishti Chintakaha. That means we don't consider how this creation happened, and what is the components, what is the nature of God or nature of Jiva, etc., etc. These are from relative standpoint. But when you are considering, it is like this. Now we dream. How we dream, what is the component of dream, why it comes, all this. When we are awake, we are not interested. But still some people would question us, so we touch it. So here we'll see it is touching or like on the way, okay, it is there. But we don't say continue arguing or supporting or not supporting. We say, oh, okay, fine, it is there. And we see, because when we experience this world, we cannot totally ignore about it. So we must speak about it, but not to give that much importance. That is the point. Why? Because when mind is lifted, then this multiplicity disappears. That is the point. Okay. Okay, before we go through, because today we'll go very quickly.
Oh, no, it's good stuff today.
No, okay.
Go quickly on the recapitulation and take your time on what's coming.
Okay. Okay, three things are there. One is Veshti. Veshti means individual. Samashti means collective. So three points are there. One is Ishvara. Ishvara means God, not Brahman. Ishvara is when he is creating, preserving, and destroying. In Sri Ramakrishna's word, Mother. Mother Shakti. Brahma, Shakti, Shakti, Brahma. Brahman. So Shakti and Brahman identical. When she is creating, preserving, destroying, we call her mother. Easier. Shakti. But when he is not doing anything, we call him Brahman. Okay, so Ishvara. Brahman, Ishvara. And then second comes Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means from where everything is created. And when it is manifested, that's called Vaishwanara. Vaishwanara. So Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha or Hiranyagarbha or Virat. Hiranyagarbha, Virat and Vaishwanara. This is collective. What is individual? Individual is called Pragya. Pragya, when we are one, say like in deep sleep, Pragya. Nantar Pragya, Bahir Pragya. That means we are not aware of inside, outside, but it is not totally absence of our awareness. So Pragya. And when it is being manifested, it is called Taijasa or Vishwa. Taijasa, and when it is manifested like this, it is Vishwa. So Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, and Vaishwanara, and Pragya, and Taijasa and Vishwa. Pragya, Taijasa, and Vishwa. Okay, so these are technical terms to denote what is the collective and individual existence that we experience. Now let us go to the text. What is the number?
209 is what I have.
Okay. Yeah. Two oh nine. So we have already discussed what is Maya and who is Mai. Ishvara is Mai. That the shloka is there. Mainam tu Maheshwara. Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyan Mainam tu Maheshwara. So Prakriti, whatever we see, it is Maya. Maya means we have various definitions. One is called ignorance, ajnana, Maya, Yama, what it is not, but it appears. Ignorance means ajnana. Because of ignorance, we see. But when knowledge dawns onto us, then it disappears. We see a snake, but when we explore about it, bring a light, then it disappears. So similarly, this world we see, we cannot deny. But when we try to understand the nature of this, then it disappears. So in this, we have already discussed about the Ishvara and how Ishvara is creating, preserving and destroying. Just let me read a little. Otherwise, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Chetupakramina. So the Vedas declare Brahman to be truth, knowledge and infinity. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And also that speech and the other organs cannot grasp it. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. It cannot touch the reality. Why? Because speech, mind, it is conceived in truth. It cannot transcend its limitation. Why? Say it is like this. In our dream, time, space, and causation are conceived. I give example. A story, a character in a story cannot understand the nature of the author because that story was conceived by the author. Until or unless author wants in the mouth of that character, one cannot understand what is the nature of the author. So, this world is the concept of that creator. We are speech, mind, etc. is the created being. How a created being can understand the creator? Cannot. The painted figures in a paint cannot understand the painter because it is not in that purview. So, how we know then? Because luckily we have some realized people. And also Vedas. Vedas means that Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means that Vedas is the evidence. We have some evidences. So, like Sri Ramakrishna, we read Sri Ramakrishna, from him we understand. So, Vedas declares Brahman to be truth, knowledge, and infinity, and also that speech and the other organs cannot grasp it. Thus, it is determined that Brahman is associationless. Why? Because nobody, no painting, no character of painting can think about him. And when you reach that, then there is no question of, because the painting is then, it is like dream. After you wake up, then you don't think about your dream, because that's a futile. Now, another Shruti says that Ishvara, the Lord of Maya, creates the universe, whereas the Jiva is controlled by Maya. Jiva means individual self. Why? So Maya means creative force. When Brahman assumes as Ishvara, how it assumes? Because he then has the creative power. That's called Maya. Like magic in a magician. He tries to create some illusion. So he has that power. So that Shruti says, Ishvara, the Lord of Maya, creates the universe. Whereas, say, a painter paints a painting. Whereas the Jiva is controlled by Maya. Why? Because whatever is painted by the painter. So Ishvara associated with Maya is the creator. So who is Ishvara? Ishvara with the power of creation. That is Maya. Now we go to next. As the deep sleep, at the deep sleep state passes into dream state, so Ishvara, who is known as the Shita blaze, transform himself into Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha. So, like a person in deep sleep, then transcends to dream state. Then he starts dreaming. Similarly, Hiranyagarbha state when he creates. Okay. As the deep sleep state passes into dream state, so Ishvara, who is known as the Sheath of bliss, why Sheath of bliss? Because Ananda Prachuratvat. Ananda Prachuratvat means in a deep sleep we have joy. Though we don't know the source, but we feel joy. But Ishvara knows. It's like the creator, a painter, when he or she is full of creative force, that feels joy and then creates. Like a singer, when he wants to sing, so he is full of joy, then he sings. So, as the deep sleep state passes into dream state, so Ishvara, who is known as the Shita bliss, transforms himself into Hiranyagarbha when he, the one, wills to be many. See, I'm alone, let me be many. So he becomes many. Eko ham bahusyama prajayeya. Kramena yukpadesha. There are two types of Shruti text describing the creation of the world either as a gradual evolution or as instantaneous. There is no contradiction, for the dream world sometimes arises gradually out of deep sleep, but at other times it arises instantaneously. So the examples are given that tasmat va, ye tasmat, yeah. तस्मात् आत्मनः आकाश संभूत आकाशात् वायुः वायुरग्निः etc. So that's that, either instantaneously or gradual. So there's no dispute over it. Okay, we go forward. Hiranyagarbha or Sutratma. Here, who is Hiranyagarbha? When Ishvara starts creating or starts dreaming, we start dreaming. So in that state, we can understand. So Hiranyagarbha or Sutratma, otherwise called the subtle body, is the totality of the subtle bodies of all jivas. All jivas. Say like painter, when tries to paint, he has his imagination that all character in the painting, those will come. Or a storyteller, he conceives all the stories and individual characters. So totality of the subtle bodies of all jivas. He conceives himself as the totality of all egos or I consciousness, like the threads of a piece of cloth. And he is said to be endowed with the powers of volition, conation, and cognition. Okay, we go forward. So how it is like? It's not fully clear. Say when in the morning we see not very clear, but gradually things are coming up. So it's not very clear. So that to show that the world in its course of evolution comes to rest in Hiranyagarbha, but at this stage it is indistinct, just as an object seen in partial darkness at dawn or dusk. So when we are transcending from deep sleep to our dream state, so many things are not very clear. Gradually it becomes a dream. And sometimes if it is a nightmare, then we see something horrible. And even we remember when we are awake. So in the beginning, it is not very clear, but gradually it becomes clearer. So that is the state. Okay. So how it is this? How Brahman is creating? Brahman with Maya is Ishvara. And when it is trying to create this, so it is called Hiranyagarbha. That time it is not very clear, but gradually coming up. Say in the morning, what happens? We all of a sudden something happens, then we want to be awake. In the beginning, it's not very clear, not very distinct that this is my bed or this is my table, chair, etc., etc. But gradually it becomes clearer. So, as the outlines of a picture are drawn in black pencil or a stiffened piece of canvas, so also the subtle bodies indistinctly appear in Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha is coming out but not distinct. We go to the next. Like a tender offshoot of a germinated corn, say like a seed is sown, but in the beginning it's only very tender. But gradually even that tree will evolve. And it's a big tree, maybe 150 feet, or maybe with many branches. Even one can go and ride on it, but in the beginning you cannot. So, like a tender offshoot of a germinated corn, or like a tender plant sprouting, Hiranyagarbha is the tender bud of the world which is still indistinct. Now, next, in Virat, the world appears distinct and shining, like objects in broad daylight. Now, see, like we are seeing now, everything is clear. And the whole picture, even mountain, the hills and dells and whatnot, everything is clear. So it is like daytime. So in Virat, the world appears distinct and shining, like objects in broad daylight, or like the figures of a fully painted picture, or the fruit of a fully matured tree. In Virat, all the gross bodies are plainly seen. Okay, we go to the next. In the Vishwarupa chapter and in the Purusha Sukta, there is a description of Virat from the creator Brahma to a blade of grass, all objects in the world from part of Virat, form part of Virat. So everything what we see, it is part of Virat. Virat or Vaishwanara. So these are, when it is grossified, when it is distinct, then we say Virat. Sri Ramakrishna, what he saw? He used to go for plucking flowers. So immediately he saw, this is Virat. And the worship is being, it is like bouquet. All the flowers are like bouquet to worship Virat. So one experiences that, though everything is distinct, but he understands that it is the form of God. What Swamiji said? Swamiji said, world is objectified God. God projected outward. So this is when we see as a Virat, as Samashti, collective. Individually we can understand this is the individual self. And it is distinct. I am distinct from other people. So like that. Okay, we go forward. In the Vishwarupa chapter and in the Purusha Suktam, there is a description of Virat from the creator Brahma to a blade of grass, all objects in the world from part of Virat. Virat Ajayata. And Virat, that yeah, Dashopanishad and that one. Anyway, so we go forward. So we take this 2006, 206, 207 and 208 together. The forms of Virat such as Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, Virat, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Indra, Agni, Ganesha, Bhairava, Mairala, Marika, Yaksha, demons, and Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, cows, horses, and other beasts, birds, fig, banyan, and mango trees, wheat. That means whatever we see, rice and other cereals and grasses, water, stone, earth, sticks, sigils, axes, and other implements are manifestations of Ishvara. Worshipped as Ishvara, they grant fulfillment of desire. So whatever grossified world that we see, outer, what is a Virat or Vaishwanara? Actually, it is the manifestation of same God. Ishvara manifested as Virat, means distinct. So who has done it? God has done it. God has done it means, that's why Sri Ramakrishna says that Sikh disciples came to Dakshineshwar. They say that not even a leaf can move without the will of God. Why? Everything is God objectified, in the words of Swamiji. So objectified God. But the problem is what we conceive. We don't conceive it is God. We conceive, oh, he's my friend or he's my enemy, he's my near and dear one, him I hate or someone we love. So this distinction is other than that. When we have this concept that everything is God, then we'll not hate anyone. When we see it is God who is manifesting, so God alone is there. Neha nanasti kinchana. God, when we see him as getting involved, but when it is distinct, it's God himself, no other than God. Only name is different, or we can say mode or manifestation is different, but it's the same entity. That's the idea. Now, if you worship this as God, then you'll reach and you will get the same fruits. Ye yatha mam prapaddante tangs tataiva bhajamyam, as God said in Bhagavad Gita. So, the water, stone, etc. That means he has, by enumerating this, he has included main things. Okay. So whatever you worship in whatever way, in the attitude, you'll get that same result. Ye yathamam prapaddante tangas tathaiva bhajamyam. So suppose one worships money, so he'll get more money. One worships a field, what will happen? He cultivates that and he grows something. So whatever way we take, we get the similar results. Okay, so 209. Yatha yathopasate tam falimish yush tatha tatha. In whatever form Ishvara is worshipped, the worshipper obtains the appropriate reward through that form. If the method of worship and the conception of the attributes of the deity worshipped are of a high order, the reward also is of a high order. But if otherwise, it is not. So what we should do? We should worship God not expecting anything. And when we do not expect anything, then actually we get what? We get his nature. Not that it goes without any fruit. When one does not expect anything, then he gets the highest reward. Okay. Now comes that what I started. That we don't engage, in this, it is futile. One can say, we are giving some examples also, but somebody will come and negate those things because intellect is such that it cuts both ways. Therefore, we don't engage in the thing which is futile. So we go forward. So 210. The liberation, however, can be obtained through the knowledge of reality and not otherwise. The dreaming does not end until the dreamer awakes. See, that same thing. If I have ignorance, what is the solution? Say, suppose I don't know chemistry. So the solution is I must know chemistry. If I don't know my real nature, then what is the solution? I must know my real nature. So the solution of ignorance is knowledge and nothing else. Simple, as simple as that. If I don't know computer, say AI, what is the way? I must join someone or ask someone or online course and know it. So knowledge comes by knowing. What is my real nature? How can we know? By knowing it. As simple as that. So no other thing is helpful. Suppose I worship this computer. Will I know computer? No. But here worship means what? Worship here means to strive to know. Then I can know. So, now we go to the next. In the secondless principle, Brahman, the whole universe in the form of Ishvara and Jiva and all animate and inanimate objects appears like a dream. Logi. So all this, whatever, when we are awake, as Sri Ramakrishna said, above third plane, fourth plane, anahata and Vishuddha, this world disappears. Hope you have noted, because that time I said 2 times, I read it two times, that when your mind lifts up, then you'll see it will disappear. Disappear means you'll not see distinctly. It is the same reality. So the same reality, it may appear before you, but you'll see it is the same reality. You'll experience that same reality. No friend and foe. No favorable or avoidable. So this happens. Even this world disappears. When we wake up, the dream disappears. Like that. So in the secondless principle, Brahman, the whole universe in the form of Ishvara and Jiva and all animate and inanimate objects appears like a dream. So one may argue this. That's why I read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And luckily, today we read that same thing. So I immediately asked, what is the page number? So page number is 245. Okay. We go to the next. See, I'm going very fast.
Well, now's the time to slow down.
Okay.
We're getting to that. This is the good stuff.
Maya has created Ishvara and Jiva, represented by the sheath of bliss and the sheath of intellect, respectively. Now, yes, you're right. So, two things, Maya, Ishvara and Jiva. So, Ishvara is with Anandamaya. Anandamaya means Ananda Prachuratvatmi, because he's beside himself, so he wants to be many. I'm bored, so I want to share my joy with myself. So he creates. It's like a painter paints the joy manifested. Or a cook cooks. Why? Because then only that expression comes. Then feel fulfillment. So Ishvara and Jiva, is he not fulfilled? He is fulfilled, but he cannot contain. If you know something, you want to always display that. Without display, you'll see, oh, it's like you have contained something in your custody and not expressing. Like a person who knows singing, you'd like to sing because that's expression. So, Ishvara and Jiva represented the sheath of bliss and sheath of intellect. So, Vijnanamaya. Why? What is Jiva? So, we know something. What we know? we know that we are limited. We have not crossed. So that means what? We are within the sphere of intellect. And we are not blissful. We are miserable here. Though we can guess that our nature is blissful, but when we identify, we find it is dukkham, dukkham, sarvam dukkham. So, jiva is vijnanamaya. When it transcends that and achieves anandamaya, then it is like achieving, or what do you say, ascending to the summit, ascending to summit. Like you are trying to ascend Mount Everest, and you are on the top of that. Means what? After that, it's the same reality. So all our effort is to attain that summit. That is why, in Taittiriya Upanishad, we find that Anandam Brahmeti Vajanat. He knew that he tried to discover. When he discovered Anandam Brahmeti Vajanat, Anandat khal vimani bhutani jayanti, Anandene jatani jivanti, Anandam priyanta visham vishanti. Then he does not ask any questions because he has ascended the summit. And after that, it is only joy. So, Maya has created Ishvara and Jiva, represented by the sheath of bliss and sheath of intellect, respectively. Because when it's created, that means it looks like, it is oozing out. Consciousness is oozing out. When we see a person, we can see a dead person and a living person. And we understand the awareness, consciousness is oozing out through the senses. So the whole receptacle, world is a creation of Ishvara and Jiva. So whatever world that we see, what we see is Ishvara and individual self. So this whole world is imagined, conceived in these two, Ishvara and Jiva. See, when we see something, what we see? Some creator is there and created, creator and created. So the whole receptacle world, perceptible, sorry. The whole perceptible world is a creation of Ishvara and Jiva. Whatever perceptible world that we see, it is only Ishvara and Jiva. So Ishvara and Jiva can be included in the universe, even though they really are identical with Brahman. So they say Jiva and Ishvara both are identical in Brahman. My source is Brahman, Ishvara's source is also Brahman. So it is not that we are different. That is why when the mind reaches to Ajna and then Sahasrara, then Jiva Ishvara is realized. Then there is no difference. But till that time, we'll see differences. Hope it is clear. Akshay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, now we go to the next. From the determination of Ishvara to create, from the determination of Ishvara to create, down to his entrance into the created objects is the creation of Ishvara. Eko ham bahushyama prajayaya. I am alone, let we be many. So this is creation. The created objects is the creation of Ishvara. From the waking state to ultimate release, the cause of all pleasures and pains is the creation of Jiva. Pleasure and pain. And pleasure is also a pain. When we consider it thoroughly. From the waking state to ultimate release. So we are now awake. We'll go to dream and again awake, then dream like this. Then from this birth to the another birth. So until we are released, this will go on. So from the waking state to ultimate release, the cause of all pleasures and pains, worries and tensions, whatever you say, emotions, is the creation of Jiva. So we create. Now, next. Advitiyam Brahmatattvam Asangam Tanna Janate Jiveshaya Maya Maikayur Brithava Kalaham Yayuh. Those who do not know, what is that? Why this shloka was written? Because some people will say, no, this world is there. Why you are thinking of this? Why world will disappear? So because they don't know, see, we have Sri Ramakrishna to certify. We have the scriptures. But some people don't have, and they want to go round and round within ignorance. Why? Because they don't know. So don't worry about it. That's the point. Those who do not know the nature of Brahman, who is secondless, without second, and associationless, fruitlessly quarrel over Jiva and Ishvara, which are creations of Maya. Jiva and Ishvara. Creation of Maya means one holds Maya like a magician holds magic, another is subject to magic. So Ishvara means he is holder of Maya, is the master of Maya, and Jiva is Mayadhin, Mayadhish, Mayadhin, under the spell of Maya. So those who do not know the nature of Brahman, who is secondless and associationless, fruitlessly quarrel over Jiva and Ishvara, which are creations of Maya. Now, why creation of Maya? It's not that Maya is creating. No. Because of Maya, we call him Ishvara. Now, next. Jnatva sada tattva nishthan anumodan mahe modana mahe vayam. We always approve those who appear to us to be devoted to truth and pity others, but do not quarrel with those who are deluded. Now, Maitri Karuna Mudito Pekshanam Sukha Punya Punya Bhavanata Chitta Prasadanam. There is a sutra in Yoga Sutra. So 4 situations and 4 answers. Maitri, friendliness. Karuna, compassion. Maitri Karuna. Mudita, gladness. And Upeksha means avoidance. These are four situations in four, and there are the four solutions in four situations. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam, Sukha. When one is in a happy mood or he's happy, so one should feel friendliness. Maitri, Karuna. Sukha, Dukkha. When if someone is in miserable state, then one should feel compassionate. Then one is doing something good, which is meritorious, then one should be mudita, means glad. And once someone is engaged in something which is futile or not good, then it is better to avoid. So Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam, Sukha, Dukkha, Punya, Apunya, Bhavanata, Chitta Prasadam. Then one is in equanimous state. Chitta Prasadam, then one feels happiness. So those who do not know, it's futile to fight with them. So that is being said. We always approve those who appear to us to be devoted to truth and pity others, but do not quarrel with those who are deluded. So those who understand this, we are friendly with them. Maitri. And those who do not understand, what to say? We have to pray for them. Okay. We go to the next. So, from the worshippers of objects like brass to the followers of yoga, all have wrong ideas about Ishvara. So, they have their ideas. So, we don't dispute, rather, okay, very good. In course of time, you'll understand. But the Vedantic standpoint is this. From the materialist Charvakas to the followers of Sankhya, all have confused ideas about Jiva. Why this is he saying? No, because their concepts are there. And very good. I mean, even Vedanta has arrived here, stepping on those conceived or those ideas. So it's not totally to discard, but those are which are good, we appreciate. But Vedantic point is the solution for ignorance is knowledge. As simple as that. You know it, you realize it. So that we have to emphasize. So from the worshippers of objects like grass to the followers of yoga, all have wrong ideas about Ishvara. Now, they may dispute, but here Vedantic point. If there's dispute, fine, no problem. Carry on. And we don't, like all other religions, no dispute. Fine, go ahead. In course of time, you'll understand. You see, it's not wrong also. Why? A student is admitted in kindergarten. Is it wrong? No. Because one has to transcend kindergarten, then grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then secondary, higher secondary, and then graduation.
But he takes that argument in 218. He refutes that very argument.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. We'll deal that time.
He knew what you were going to say.
No, ultimately that is there. But, Ramakrishnites, this is his opinion. We are Ramakrishnites. We don't dispute. Say, okay, very good. Go ahead. Ultimately, it's all expression of God. And God wants all these things. Why should we dispute? One thing Sri Ramakrishna opposed, one thing. Or Swami Vivekananda is, in his inimitable expression, he said, your lips never discarded anything except one thing, that my religion is only true religion. Except this. He see, he joined with the Brahma Samaj, he all kinds of things, Tantra, Vaishnava, Ramayat, all kinds of things. Only he objected one thing, my religion, my way is the only path. This is to be discarded as Ramakrishnites. So we also we encourage knowledge, fine. We don't discourage bhakti or any other things, even basic things, because all those are various manifestations of same entity. So we agree, but we are Ramakrishnites. We have our say. We can disagree also, where it is not with Sri Ramakrishna, because Sri Ramakrishna is like sun shining, and in its presence everything is figured, rather transfigured. No more and ignorance. It's all knowledge. This is our speciality. From the worshippers of the objects of knowledge, so we have them, Sankhya. Like I gave example of this. In a school, all are good. Those who are in grade 1 day he'll graduate that. Even he'll cross the graduation, postgrad, and PhD maybe. So we see from that standpoint. Of course, if someone thinks, no, this is the ultimate, grade 1 is the ultimate goal of my life, and there is no other further progress, then we pity. No problem. We pity only. Oh, very good. Okay, go ahead. Maybe in course of time you'll understand. Okay. As they do not know the truth of the secondless Brahman, they all are wrong. Where is their liberation, or where is their joy in this world? Okay. So if a person thinks, like when you ascend or go to Mount Everest, there are so many peaks, and then higher, then higher, then higher. If you go to Himalaya, it is like this. You'll see, oh, this is very high. And after reaching there, oh, more higher peaks are there. So higher, then higher, then higher, and then higher. But if you reach Mount Everest, that's the highest. We don't deny. One should not think that other peaks are highest. So, Advitiya, what is that? The culmination is in one. All sciences stop when it reaches unity. That is why it is the highest. If there are two, then we'll say no, not hoini. That means, once it happened, Swami Premananda Ji. So as a monk, was striving very hard. And Premananda Ji was encouraging him, okay, meditate, inquire more. And one day he said, Maharaj, I got that Brahmananda today. So Premananda Ji could understand. He said, are you sure about it? Yes, Maharaj. Yes. Then he asked again, 2-3 times. So ultimately at the end, he said, I think so. He said, then it has not happened, it has not happened, it has not happened. Hoini. So when all doubts will melt away, then you have reached. So unity is the goal of all sciences. That's why, what science, first it saw so many things, metal, wood, and so many things. Then they found 108, maybe 120, some are not stable. But then they found some basic things, electrons, protons, neutrons. But then again, ultimately, that boson and so many thousands, hundreds of particles, and then quarks. And now that quantum. But ultimately, it is energy and energy alone. So when you see many, then that means you have not reached. If you see quantum even, now they have 9 types of quantum states. And they are also finding new things. So that means they have not reached. But Vedanta has reached. Vedanta has reached that unity where everything merges, then there are no two. And if a person lives in that state for 21 days, even body ideas go away. This world that we see, beautiful world, vanishes. This vanishes even every day today. And when we go to deep sleep, this world disappears. But for him, it goes once for all. Even after Buddhan means after that, when he wakes up in this world, that time also he'll see only one thing, not many. Neha nanasti kinchana. Here there are not many. So this unity is the highest. All other things are stages. We don't discard stages. Okay, let us go to the next. Some may say that these people represent grades and enjoyment from the lowest to the highest. But of what use is it? A man, when awake, derives no good from the dreams in which he may have played the part of a king or a beggar. Yes. So one has to be awake, and one is awake in unity. It doesn't mean that he has discarded. He said he has set the goal. That unity is the goal. All other things, in the beginning, what he said, we have compassion for them. They don't understand. It's like that. But goal, we cannot deviate or degrade goal. Goal is the highest. Unity is the goal. Tasmat mumukshubhir naiva matihi jivesha vadayahu. Therefore, the aspirants to liberation should never engage themselves in disputations. He's saying, fine, those who think, that some religions say my religion is only good. We don't dispute with them. Fine, go ahead. Now, the nature of Jiva. Therefore, the aspirants to liberation should never engage themselves in disputation about the nature of Jiva and Ishvara. They ought to practice discrimination and realize the reality of Brahman. That's it. Doubt. Such disputation is a means to the understanding of Brahman. Reply. It may be so, but be careful to avoid being drowned helplessly in the sea of confusion, because reason is double-edged sword. It may prove, it may disprove. Once it happened, a lawyer, he was supposed to save a lady because her husband supposedly committed a murder. And the lawyer used to take liquor, I mean, drink. And under that inebriation, under that influence, he started arguing against that his client. And judge could not, tolerate anymore, because he thought now he cannot come back. Say, Mr. Bose, I think you are here to support your client, but you are arguing against that. Oh, yes, my lord, I understand. This, what I said, is what my learned lawyer might say. Now he started discarding whatever, what was very difficult to come out of that. He started discarding, and he ultimately he won the case. So under Booz, he was under that influence. What is the point here? Logic is such that it can prove, disprove. So we should not engage futile disputation. That's the point. Okay. Asanga. Okay, time is up. Akshay, any question?
Yes, like Ishvara is like unity of all the jivas, but that means that Ishvara is dependent on jiva.
No, not dependent. Like I gave two examples. Like a author writes a storybook. All the created characters are conceived by that author. Author is like a Ishvara. And all the characters are subservient to that author. The second example is like a painter paints a painting, and all, human being, beast, even the trees painted in that picture or painting, all are subservient to Ishvara. It's not dependent. Ishvara is not dependent on the created things. Right? Because tomorrow, suppose he burns that storybook or burns that painting, nothing will happen to him. You create your dream every day. When you come out of your dream, do you disappear? No. All the characters that is in your dream disappears. You don't depend on those characters. Right?
Yeah.
So like that, Ishwar is not dependent. Jiva is Vijnanamaya, and Ishwar is Anandamaya. That means out of joy he creates. Like a musician, out of joy he sings. But that musician is not dependent on the music. He can create any number of music. The storyteller can tell any number of stories. The painter can paint any number of paintings. You dream any number of your dreams. And then you are the same Akshay. Right? Very
Yeah.
good. Okay. David, any question?
No, Swami.
Thank you very much. You have saved me. Because okay. Okay. Unfortunately, next week I will not be here. I'm going to Tucson. But that's good. So it will be a break to think about it.
When are you going, Boris?
12th.
Um,
Come back on 16th.
okay.
Tucson and Phoenix. And last week I went to Las Vegas. We have
Oh,
a center there. We have a
do we
center
have
there.
we
Las
have a
Vegas
center in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
not exactly known for its Vedanta.
And no. See, that gives insight. You know, this world is a place of illusion, right? Then there is a city of illusion. And I went to see a museum of illusion. From one standpoint, you see a chair. From another viewpoint, you see only 4 legs and on the ground something. And so many other things. Some, like there is a tunnel. If you walk with that, what is happening? The lights are moving. But you will feel that you are falling down. So all brain creates. So this world also created by our brain.
X plus mine.
Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha creates this. So, if you are at the feet of Guru Maharaj and Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, then wherever you go, you'll see something which is not there, not written there. But something unique you can see. Last time I saw canyon, and not in the red rock. Beautiful red rock. Of course, I also lost $1. There is another red rock. So I said, okay, let me try. So I lost $1. So good. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Pranam Maharaj.
Namaste, namaste. Jai Ma.
Pranam.
Om.
Pranam.
Yeah, namaskar. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all.